So, we wouldn't really probe much here. Interesting spot to think about check raising, though. I think it makes sense to check raise his hand a lot. We obviously have a double cutter, we have an over till 7. He can have some ace-x, he may delay some. He probably would be fairly balanced. He goes pot. You could just jam this, it would be an option. I think we'll go for a big sizing. So, we're going to start with check and just flop top bet. Let's see how we do. Plan is to, let's say, play reasonably balanced. I think we'll start with a bet here. I think you can start with a bet or check. Both are absolutely fine. Sizing, absolutely fine with either. We get check raise, which is pretty standard. We're going to start with defend. Spade comes good for our range. I mean, definitely will check raise some flush draws as well. Let's say it's good for our betting range as well. We could check, we could bet. I think checking makes sense. I don't think it makes too much sense to bet here. We protect a little bit from spades, but I mean, what's really the need? I think we can represent some bluffs quite nicely. If we have a hand like 5-3, for example, maybe a hand like 5-6 with a spade. And they definitely want to be bluffing. We're going to say thanks very much to Mr. Jonas. In terms of what we get value from, it's pretty tough. Maybe we just want to check here. I don't know. Let's go for a little small bet. I think that's kind of interesting. We are slightly vulnerable from check raises. Depends if we want to be having some spades. But we get some value sometimes. And we do get some value from probably like a 9x or an 8x or a 4x. Maybe a hand like King 4, for example. Would make sense. Look at me, Tommy. Look at me. 12-month Twitch. Wow. Vielen Dank, Mr. Jonas. Thank you, thank you, thank you. 12 months Twitch, baby. That's very, very nice of him. 12 months he's been hanging around here. Has he got any better poker? No, I'm not sure. Have we got any better poker? I'm not sure. Has the Twitch got any better? I'm not sure. But you know what? That's for Jonas, yeah? Just that little noise there. We'll do it one more time. Don't know what that is, but thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. 2019 HFM, for the sub. Hope you're doing well. My golden party, obviously lots of... I'll let you know if they're regs or recreationals. I don't want to out people, because obviously notes are different. And so if I know who the players are, I will try and not reveal, let's say, for example, I knew this was Wubsy. I will try not to out Wubsy. Instead, we'll just say, if we hold, GG to Three-Handed Chef. Maybe we know them, maybe we don't. We'll just say GG to them. And, yeah, thanks for the game. Will be how I'm going to try my best. It's likely at some point I'm going to make a mistake and do that. Again, my Twitch is not working. I'm just going to go for a limp stab. Funny, we've been studying lots of limp stab boards today, and I'm already thinking I'm going to try our best to throw in a bigger sizing. We could check this. I mean, it's definitely very reasonable to check this, but like, I think I'm just going to bet it. Just bet range and be okay with that. All right, let's start with a check. I think we just fold. Don't think we beat anything. Interact with some bluffs, maybe. It seems okay. Is there an always action at the 5 on the party? I don't know, honestly. It's been a while since I played them. The action previously was, let's say, intermittent. So at times you'll get action, at times you won't. It goes to recourse. This guy's definitely been using a multitude of sizings. And so we say fair enough. We'll not be continuing too much on this board. I will try not to reveal too much of what I know about their strategy, of course. Again, could definitely look to check this hand, but again, on this ace-up board, I think it just makes sense to bet. Deny some equity, for example, get some value from worse. That's all fine. There will be a lot of continues naturally here. 2x and 4x with a backdoor, for example. And that'll be good. D beside you said, just sends a little wave. Thank you, D beside you. I appreciate that. And Akbar says, good night, good luck from Russia. Thank you, Akbars. I appreciate the good luck. Pretty quick ISO, we're going to start with defend. Pretty easy decision. JVD says, 300 chef is from Hands of the Week. You've got your man spot on. Go give him also a follow on YouTube, huh? So he goes for a bit of a bigger sizing. I think looks like he's setting up for a turn jam. I don't think we have any choice but to call. Sucks a little bit if he's got jacks or whatever, but I mean, that's the only thing. He also could have 7s or 8s and legitimately playing this way. He could have a flush draw, for example, as well. It'd be pretty reasonable. When he checks, Do we just want to jam ourselves? I think probably we do. Don't think it makes sense to check back here and let him bluff. Maybe, but I think it makes sense to shove. He will call off with worse, such as a flush draw. I was expecting to maybe jam that, but okay. Start with a check, I think is a good idea. 8-2-8. Some really bet, some really check. Both are absolutely fine. I mean, I'm starting with a check here. We bet last time. And so I think check-in this time makes sense. We probably wouldn't be checking much 8x, although we might check a little bit. 5 comes. We do have a gut shot. We could try a little raise it. That would be an interesting idea to see if we can get a 7 to fold. Do we have better hands to raise? Probably not. We're going to keep it small. We can represent a 7x here, for example. We'd definitely be raising one of those. We get it through. I think it seems okay. I mean, it's very hard with the blockers in terms of what you want to actually raise or not. So I think going for more of a, let's say, just linear, like raising some of the weakest hands is probably actually going to be fine. So JVDs, we don't typically limp jam 9s. Part of the reason is that when you think about someone's ISO range, they're quite polar. So what does that mean? That means often they can have value, which is basically hands that we're flipping against, or they're not going to fold, you know, Jack 10 suited, for example, or King Queen suited, he wasn't going to limp fold. Or they've got bluffs, you know, it's just got like Queen 3 off or something. So it's slightly different ranges compared to, say, the button, where they'll have just a merge range. Now, the reason why you don't want to limp jam a hand like 9s there, or 7s or 8s, is that you're either flipping, in which case, okay, or you just deny their bluff equity, which is like, okay. So I think it makes sense to actually, let's say, limp flat, and then you keep all the bluffs in, a hand like Queen 4 off, which is pretty poor equity, or maybe even a hand like whatever he's got, 8-3 off or anything. And that kind of makes sense. We get an interesting sizing there. Okay, I got it. It's used lots of interesting sizing before. We're going to call here with a straight draw. It's marginal already, this hand. So we'll start with a check now. And yeah, we have a pretty easy fold now. Interesting what we would want to continue with. I mean, obviously we'd have like, let's say 7-4 of clubs, 10-4 of diamonds and not hearts. So the 4 is kind of like actually quite a tricky, I don't know if he's aware of that, but it's a really nice hand to bluff with a big sizing. Maybe, but we don't have 2 pair really in that range. I mean, 10-4, like we don't have 10-4 off in our pre-flip range, so it's only 10-4 suited, and then that 4 especially blocks a lot of the 2 pair that we can have. I don't know if he thought that through, but it is a little aspect of that hand. So King Queen off, I think we just want to jam this at this stack depth. Batnik says, are you playing on leaderboards? Lobby 250-500, so small, about 20 or 30 players. Yeah, we'll see how we do on the leaderboards. If we do them, that'd be great. If not, also fine. Okay, nice hand. JVD says, would you lose that strat at low stakes also? Flux can be quite hard to play. So that, I mean, what I would say is that you're also talking about the 9s, right? The limp jam. So 9s and 8s and 7s and 6s were very traditionally like easy limp jams, right? Against the lower stakes, if they're not going to be polarized, you may as well limp jam. So if they're not going to have the bluffs, you may as well do it. They are tough to play, but they get easier as you play more. So I used to limp jam them all the time when I was lower, and now I think it's better to limp flat them, even at the lower stakes most likely. So again, we're going to see some of the adjustments I'll make when playing, you know, good opponents. Is you may remember from a lot of my, if you've been a fan of the stream for a while, you may remember a lot of my streaming has all been about, let's say, focusing on opponents' ranges. What we have to be a little bit more cautious about is just trying to focus on someone's ranges and be like, oh, they've checked here, so they're probably weak. Like, people will be a lot more balanced, if that makes sense. And so we're going to play a bit more of a, we're going to play a game plan which has more emphasis on our own ranges, making sure that we aren't exploitable, assuming that there will be naturally more balance in this game. Now, obviously there will still be things to think about, but that will be a nice, I think, pseudo adjustment to make. I have worked with a lot of these guys, of course, so like, it's not that we're in an alien landscape or anything, you know. So we're going to start with defend with 7-4 suited. Again, just going to time back a little bit. Ace-Jack 2, going to just be a check fold. Nothing really to do here. I would expect everybody watching plays this hand the same. And we fold. Okay, goes check, check. We get a 1/3 probe. An ace, definitely a good card for the buttons range. Probably isn't folding too much ace-6. Could be a spot to check raise, for example, some 4x maybe. Or check raise on bluffs even. Or just win with Jack 2. Nice. That'll do. Interesting decision not to fire. 9-10 is actually pretty marginal. I might let this one go. He had King High. Okay. Makes sense. Bet on the rivers are good. Taking some days off. Antibiotics right now. I'm feeling so hopeless. Oh, that's sad to hear, Manchester. And yeah, don't feel hopeless. Antibiotics are good. Healing time. Yeah? You are healing, my friend. Everything's going to be well. I've been on antibiotics a lot back in the day. I had tonsillitis, right? They always give me the antibiotics for that. So, get well soon, I guess, is definitely what we want to be saying to Henia. Hey, this is good, isn't it? I think we're going to play this hand aggressively. Don't know if he raise, what are we expecting? Maybe we could slow play as well, actually. I have ideas against this opponent. Yeah, let's just go for a little bit. Glad says, some promotional while you playing party? Just trying to win, mate. Just a bit of a gamble, innit? No. We'll see how it goes. Who knows how it goes. So, yeah, we're just going to fold. You could think about 3-bet non-in those hands sometimes, but I think folding is going to be fine as well. Thanks for answering my question twice. No problem, yeah. I think I did answer it twice, right? JVD says, hey Tom, would you prefer tiling tables or stacking tables? I like tiling. It depends on how many tables you play though. Above a certain point, you got to stack them. But below a certain point, I like the tile. Plenty of guys in 601 doing very well. We're going to bet a check raise and a shove over. And a call. And that is ace king. Pretty GTO line just to shove over with the... It's funny, it's a spot we looked at pretty much that spot today. And you do see just the shove over versus check raises with the ace king often. Alright, fairly easy call. Definitely would be some suited stuff that's going to be dominating, and ace 4 or something we're flipping with. Not flipping, but you know what I mean. Ace jack. One of the nice things is not having to worry about edge passing so much. There was if there was a big recreation of the game, you could maybe think about, let's say, swerving that spot and just letting it go. Interesting limp here. It does have some merit to it for sure. Nice to see that. We're still going to get in Queen Jack. I mean, what else do we do? Complete? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Expect to see a lot of ISO reships, yeah. Worked out well for us. How come you left Texas? Bonus is finished, so we're back on party. We'll see if we get another bonus, but I don't really like grinding stars bonuslessness without a bonus. So Buster says, have I played with Alex6255 in stars? I think he's the Reagan hundreds. I have played Alex6255, yes. There's quite a few Alexes, but I'm fairly confident I've played Alex6255. Skiot84 says, Giochi anche su GG Poker. I think that's probably saying something like, what do you think of GG Poker? And I will say, I don't know too much about it from the spin and go territory. But it's probably fun. Obviously just calling off here. Let's see if we can hit. Looking for a spade. There it is. Nice. A couple of something. Party poker is back. Sweet. Thank you, Flacco. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So I mean, yeah, it's difficult to say much about GG Poker. I think it just depends a little bit on. I don't have enough information to give you a good answer, and then I can guesstimate. But unfortunately, sorry, Mr. Sciordi, I couldn't. I would be guessing. Let's say, pretty easy call here. Again, we're looking for spades or no spades, no ace. Happy days. We might be coming back, ladies and gentlemen. I know. Fram is correct in picking up my. It's funny, like when you play one table, in theory, you should autopilot misclick less. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the dumb things you do, and I still managed to do it. And I was like, oh, I was hoping I was hoping no one would bring too much attention to that. I just let that slide. You know what I mean? The chat is ruthless. So we wouldn't really probe much here. Interesting spot to think about check raising though. I think it makes sense to check raise this hand a lot. We obviously have a double cutter, we have an over till 7. He can have some ace-x, he may delay some. He probably would be fairly balanced. He goes pot. You could just jam this, it would be an option. I think we'll go for a big sizing. It's really tricky, isn't it? I think we might just jam this, to be honest. The sizing's really awkward. To use a non-lin. We're not going non-lin and folding. I think just shoving's going to be the way to go. I'm going to mark that one. I'm really not sure about the stack depth. It's really awkward. I wasn't anticipating, you know, if he pots it, it's a bit of an awkward stack depth to anticipate, but I think shoving's still going to be pretty good to go for. If he's over delaying, it's very easy. I don't think he knows who I am. Doesn't he know who I am? But I think it's very easy to, let's say, over delay on that board. 10-3-7, we definitely have some donking here. This is definitely an option to start donking. Let's go for it. Pretty quick call. Good turn for us. Good turn for our range as well. I like 2.7. Let's go 3. Alright. Sometimes the donks work, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes the donks just work. Queen 7 suited, NBB. I don't know. Howdy says, a couple of you streamers with Team 601, sorry. Bluntly put, who is Team 601? Ah, okay. I got it. Let's see if we can hit a club here. Bam. No, that was bad river. Bad river, ladies and gentlemen. I was happy for a second. But we can pick up queens next hand, which is also good. So the story behind Team 601. How do we get a walk? Wow. The story behind Team 601 is it's a staking group primarily focused on spins and heads up, formed by Jackstack and Jason, aka Jackstack99 and Bubble Outcast. One thing I need to get used to is learning to deal with, let's say, HUD-less environments, because I'd love to like look at his HUD stat and then figure out what to do. See a 1BB sizing, definitely not folding Jack 3 here. I think we start with a call. There's some showdown here. Now, we would have a lot of King X, and weirdly enough, we might even have King X advantage, although I think we would ISO jam a lot of King X. Does he limp trap King X? He definitely limp trap suited King X. He will ISO jam offsuit King X. Really tricky, because, I mean, this is like one of the good hands that we have. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a call on the turn. We're going to end up folding it, because I don't know what to do on rivers. But this one I'm going to mark as well, and it could well be a call on the turn, or something. Maybe it was a lead on the turn. Do we ever lead the hand? Not sure. So the story about anyway. So Jackstack and Jason lived in a flat with the name 651, the apartment 651, right? He's done a very good job at dodging our big pairs, by the way. Finding the right folds. Jason and Jackstack lived in this apartment, and since then it's grown from being, I think, a collection of like 10 or 20 players about 5 years ago to maybe, I think we have over 100 players now across different formats. Yeah, I mean, you could some of this GTOs like checking back threes. I'm not sufficiently trained in the pocket threes check back range at 8 big blinds, so I think I'll just jam. But like, it does weird stuff as you get shallower. I think like 7 BB or something, 8 BB. There's some stack depth where you stop jamming pairs. Still, we just pick up ace 10, dominate him, happy days. And we hold. But that's not GG. Aces. Very nice for him to get aces at 0.4 BB rather than 14 BB here. That would have been sad. We're hoping we can, let's say, win here. Pokelasic says, I'm just coming. Is this a one-time thing, the high-stakes Poke Park spins? We'll see. We'll see how it goes, and we'll see what we want to do.